Today we're going to talk about how to create your motion graphs based on turning this into this. What we're really looking for in the graph is total displacement, and we kind of want to see what motion we should anticipate, what kind of motion we can expect. Right, so the first thing we're going to have to do is we actually have to have our automata assembled. So I'm going to pull up the one here, and we've already got a cam inserted in there. And then I'm actually going to start a new spreadsheet in Excel. So I'm going to have both of these open at the same time. I'm going to go ahead and set this up. I'm going to say this is going to be the title, so I'll say hex cam. And then I'm going to say each one of these is going to add by 45 degrees. So I can actually put a formula in here if I want. Some of these I'll know, right? So 0, 45, and then 90. But after a while, I'm just going to say, you know what? This is going to equal C2 plus 45. And then what I can do is grab that little bitty box right there and just stretch it out. So right here is 360. That's where I'm going to end. So I'm going to delete these. I will take the data that I get from actually doing the test. So first thing I'm going to do is square this up. So I'm going to click the look at tool and click on this ruler so that it's squared up a little bit. Before I get going, I want to go ahead and make sure I have my drive constraint here. So I've right clicked on drive. Well, this might say angle for you if you never renamed it. I'm going to go ahead and just reset this whole thing. So I want to make sure we're back at 0. So my first reading, and this is in eighths, so there's 1/8, there's 1/4, there's 3/8. So halfway in here, this looks like 5/16 to me. So my first measurement at 0, I'm going to put 1 and 5/16. So I go in here and I say 1 and 5/16. So now I'll go back to the automata in Inventor, and I'll say the end point is going to be 45. And I'll hit the play button. Now what I'm going to do is take my readings. So this is 1 and 3/8. So I'll go back to Excel and I'll say 1 and 3 divided by 8. Then I'm going to move to 90. So I'll take my ending now and say 90. Hit the play. And this one looks like 1.5. So I'm going to put 1.5 right there. Next, I'm going to go and take it to 135. So ending 135. And this one's back to 1 3/8. So I'll go right here and say 1 space 3 divided by 8. And enter. Now, I'm going to continue doing this, but I want to show you something. Sometimes you will have smaller numbers than you won't have a whole number in front. So maybe you have 3/4. Well, when I do that and I click out of there, it says March 4th. Well, maybe I had 7/16. Well, when I do that, it says July 16th. I don't want dates, but what I do want are numbers. So I'm going to highlight any number that does that. So I'm actually going to highlight these two and these. By hitting the control key, I can select multiple cells. I'll right click and say format cells, fourth one from the bottom. And then I'm going to go to number. We usually carry 3 decimal places in here, so we might as well do it now. So I'll click and say 3, and then I just hit OK. And now it will change those over. Now, you can see it made a terrible miscalculation there, so I'll just re-enter 3 divided by 4. And now this one was 7 divided by 16. So you can see it converts them back over. The default on Excel is to accept them as a date. So if you start getting it where it just puts dates in there, that's what you need to do. All right, so let's get back to this. Let's go back up to 180 now. So 180, and then I hit the play button. And that takes us back to 1 5/16. So let's go back to Excel and say 1 and 5 divided by 16. So then I'm going to go to 225 next. 225, hit the play button. 1 3/8 again. So 1 8 2 3. So 1 3/8. Now at this point, you guys are pretty sharp, so you're probably starting to pick up on a pattern. And this is going to be pretty common when you have a symmetrical type of cam. But let's go ahead and finish it out just to show you the process. So there's 270. That looks like 1.5 again. So 1.5. Then I'm going to go to 315. Hit the play button. And that takes me to 1 3/8. So go back into Excel, create that graph 1 space 3 divided by 8. And then I'm just going to go ahead and finish the job. I'll go ahead and say 360. And hit the play button. And that takes me right back to where I started, which is what I expected to happen. So that would be 1 5/16. All right, so now I've got the data I need. I really don't need Inventor anymore until I do the next cam. So I'm going to finish the work in Excel now. I am going to go ahead and kind of make this look better. So I'll select all these cells. And I want to put hex cam right in the middle of all this. So I'm going to hit merge and center. I'll just select all of that. And then I'm going to go up here to borders and say all borders. That's not really necessary, but it does help it make it look a little bit better. Now the next thing, and really the last thing that I'll do as far as data collection goes, I want to create the chart. So I'm going to select these 2 rows, and I'm going to go up to Insert. I'm going to click right here. This is that scatter plot. So I'll click the little down arrow, and I really want this one because it shows me lines. If I just pick this one, it's only going to give me dots. So I'm going to go down here. Then I'm going to use, and I'm going to kind of make the chart look a little better now. So I'm going to hit the plus button, and I'm going to put some axis titles on there. I can look at data labels, but it kind of clutters things up, so I'm not going to use those this time. The trend line I really don't need, because what I'm looking for is the motion here, and I'm getting that. This is showing me a good motion graph of what's going to happen. So I'm going to change the chart title. I'm going to just double click in there and say hex cam. Over here on the y-axis, I'm going to make that say, whoops, I'm just double clicking. I'm going to say displacement. And then down here at the bottom on the x-axis, I'm going to say degrees. So that's really what I need at this point. Now I'll just kind of move it over here, stretch it out a little bit. So then my next step, there's my hex cam data. Now I would go into an Inventor. I would go ahead and exit out of this. And my next step is really just to delete this cam, put the next cam in, and continue to collect data.